Hello and welcome to the first of the practice videos that I'm doing for Newmarket Chamber Orchestra in the middle of lockdown. This week I'm going to do some videos. We're going to work on the last movement of Beethoven 1, just the first Allegro section, so just up to bar 90 odd, or wherever it is, 97 or so I think. Not going to do the introduction, which is just really a first violin problem. We'll come back to that at another point, but I'm just going to work on the string parts for the first Allegro section. I'm going to try and cover, it's not a very big section, but I'm going to try and cover a number of things. So firstly around approach, so a little bit about style and phrasing. Chris and myself are both very keen to do this largely without vibrato, which has great benefits in terms of the transparency and the clarity of the sound that we get from the orchestra, but does present some challenges in terms of intonation and tone production, both of which we tend to rely a little bit on vibrato to help with those. So I'll do a little bit of work on how to try and address some of those problems. The other thing that I'm probably going to work on quite a lot actually in these videos is practice techniques. So particularly, sounds a bit of a strange thing to say when we're practicing in isolation, but listening. So listening to our own playing, but also kind of hearing in your head the context of where your part is in the orchestra mix and what the harmonic and melodic importance of what you're playing is, to see if we can improve how we unify our phrasing and approach. I'm also going to talk, probably a little bit too much for most people's liking, about slow practice, keeping things musical whilst we're practicing slowly, not just using it for navigating notes. Also, sort of, I'm going to advocate the use of a metronome to try and gradually build up speed and control over the music that we're playing. And I'll try and explain as we go through why. And finally, I'm going to cover a number of technical areas, nothing too radical. A few fingerings. There are one or two places where there are some fingerings that really ought to be pretty well mandatory, really, because they really help in one or two of the parts. A little bit about bowing and how it relates into phrasing. As I say, I'm going to talk a bit about the vibrato challenge or the no vibrato challenge and how we can help to improve that. Part of that is also about, in this section particularly of the symphony, bow control is very important. So I'll talk a little bit about how the slow practice can actually really help that. And getting the right balance between finding the bounce point on the bow where the bow does the work for you, but remaining in control so you can actually phrase as you want, rather than letting the violin run away or the viola run away with it. So I hope these are useful, and I'll get on with the first video.